New MacBook in the house, new MacBook in the house, new MacBook in. Oh, recording. Sorry about that. So, yeah, there's been some big news. Apple has made some announcements. There's been three new products with the new M1 processor. I'd like to talk about that from a designer's perspective. This is really exciting. Stay tuned. So yes, the new M1 processors have been announced. This is Apple's new Apple-specific processor made for Macs, similar to the iPad and the iPhone, which is made by Apple, the non-Intel, non-AMD processors, and it's pretty much their own thing. So that's really, really cool. And what that will allow us to do now is you'll be able to run iPhone apps and iPad apps directly on your Mac. The reason that I'm so excited about this, and this is somewhat of an assumption, but I think this is how it's going to be, is that things will be backwards compatible as well. That means a lot of things that will exist in the future Macs will also work for iPhones and iPad. Things like Sketch, Figma, full version of Adobe, XD, things like that will directly be able to work very close in the very close future directly on an iPhone and iPad. This is my own assumption. I think this is what's going to happen, but definitely I know that a lot of these programs, or pretty much every single program, pretty much hundreds of thousands of apps that haven't worked on iPads before or never being able to work on them will work on your Macs directly. And pretty much what Apple has announced, it's been three new hardware systems, which has been the Mac Mini, the MacBook Pro, 13-inch only for now, and then 13-inch MacBook Air. And the thing about the MacBook Air also is that there will be no fan in there, which is pretty cool. Not sure if there was a fan before. I don't think so. I'm not 100% sure, but no fan in there. I think the MacBook Pro will have a fan, but it will not be that noisy. This is something that a lot of people have complained, having these fans and then making noises, but with these new chips and processors, which are also really, really cool, the processor and the RAM and a lot of different things that would usually live on the motherboard separately all live on the chip directly. This one little M1 chip, which saves space and allows you to also have way more efficient battery life, according to what Apple is saying in their event that they just had recently. And that's going to be really, really cool. Especially if you're gonna be going and kind of working remotely, or kind of working somewhere else, out like an office or somewhere else where you need a lot of time. It's a really good time. I do think that usually people don't really work for more than 7-8 hours at a time. So they're saying that some of these laptops are going to last 15-20 hours long and stuff like that, which is cool and it's great, like especially if you're going on an airport or you're going to watch movies and you need that time. But from a designer's perspective, usually it's not that important. I think you really just need around 7-8 hours of really good time, and that should work really, really well. I know Sketch is one application that will work on these M1 chips. Figma is something that haven't. So what I mean by that is, because this is future technology and a lot of these applications are not made to work with the system yet. So a lot of these hardware things that are coming out, things like Adobe, the Adobe Suite, and a lot of other programs are not going to work immediately. It's going to take some time to migrate into them. Even though you are able to order these laptops now and you will get them, but not everything will work perfectly. There will be some emulators, the things will still work, but in the beginning, it'll still be buggy, and just something for you to know in case you're planning on getting one of these systems. I personally would be excited to get a 16-inch MacBook Pro with this new processor, with this new M1 processor, but it's not something that exists yet. From a personal perspective, I got like the 5K iMac, the very first version that existed, the first generation one in 2014, which is about 6 years from the time of this recording. So I have a pretty old computer, so I was kind of excited and hoping that something will come out for me. I'm personally not going to get these new computers, any of these three new computers yet. I'm going to wait. My computer is still kind of working. I do have a lot of problems with it just because it's so old and it needs to get upgraded. I'm actually running my entire operating system on an external hard drive. Anyways, I don't think anyone cares about that, but that's kind of my personal situation. Something that kind of sucks is about these new systems that are coming out. There's only 2 Thunderbolt connections and that kind of sucks. Usually like a MacBook Pro, which are usually for pros, you would need probably around 4, right? You wouldn't want to hook up different things, whether it's monitors or external hard drives and other things that you would be using. But I think 4 is a good number, but for some reason they decided to do it with 2. Maybe they did that so they could push some new computers out in the future, which will come out with 4. Again, this is a really big leap in the future, and most processors in the world are pretty much Intel or AMD, and now Apple is going to have their own processor specifically for Macs, or for Macs. So it's like this is really big news. You know, this is just a really exciting thing, and I'm just really excited to see what else happens in the future. Just kind of wanted to talk about this from a designer's perspective. I hope you got a little bit out of this. And if you think I missed anything or I was wrong about anything that I mentioned, or you want to talk about anything, feel free to let me know in the description below. I really appreciate you taking the time and hanging out with me in this video. And if you like this video, please go ahead and give me a like and subscribe to me as well. If you haven't yet subscribed, I will go ahead and see you in my next video. Have a good one. Bye.